Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to Iraq. Sutter knows what he's doing. He absolutely knew by resigning was going to cause all kinds of issues for the coordinating framework, not to mention the fact that he had his other deputies that were all part of parliament resign too. Now, sure, they found replacements, but there's a problem. They're still trying to figure out how to get Sauter back, along with his deputies. This puts Sauter in a strong position of power. I'm still not sure yet if Sauter is actually going to go ahead and go back with his deputies. I would imagine he would go back if he got exactly what he wanted. But this would mean that Maliki would be sacrificing himself and friends, because I do believe that Sauter is going to go after those people who are on the corrupt files. And Maliki's definitely one of them. Before we get started, though, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. All right, it says the framework suggests that the current will return and reveal the latest developments in the talks with its traditional rival. Now, when they say the current, what they're talking about is a government that is currently installed. Al-Kadhimi Saleh said a coordination framework revealed on Friday the existence of political negotiations between it and the Sauterist movement to return the resigned deputies within the movement to parliament, stressing that the movement is a key partner in the political process and the possibility of its return to the political process still exists. Yeah, the coordination framework has to be freaking out. Sauter is a lot more popular than people realize, and he easily can cause an uprising. Nothing probably sucks more than the fact that you are part of a group and you got a handful of people in your group that you keep trying to stick up for, but you're realizing that the more you stick up for them, the more they might be getting your butt in trouble just because you're sticking up for them. My thing is, look, man, if you're responsible for some real shady stuff and they're going to come after you, then you shouldn't have done the shady stuff in the first place. The leader of the framework, Kazim Haderi, said in an interview with the news that it is possible that the Sauterist movement will reverse the decision to resign in the coming days. He added, there are efforts by political forces to dissuade the current from the decision to resign from parliament and return the political process again, because the movement is an important partner in the political scene. Yeah, I would say so. He continued, previous withdrawals of the Sauterist movement from the political process took place several times and were retracted, noting that the movement's leader, Sauter, seems insistent this time, but returning and reversing the decision to withdraw is not impossible. I think the implication here is, look, Sauter does this, he whines, he threatens, he does tantrums, but he always comes back. I wouldn't look at it that way if I was these people, because he's pretty serious about forming the government that he wants and going after those individuals who are responsible for the corruption in that country. The central bank in Iraq relaunched 17 trillion dinars of development initiatives. The governor of the central bank announced that the central bank has launched development initiatives that exceed 17 trillion dinars so far. A statement by the central bank received by the news, the Central Bank of Iraq organized today, Thursday, in cooperation with the ministers of environment, agriculture, and water resources. These definitely are three major areas that need to be developed over in Iraq. The Association of Iraq Private Banks and the Private Sector, a specialized workshop on climate change, decertification, and national security. The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq said during a speech in the opening of the workshop, the climate change, decertification, and water shortage represents a frightening trinity that has introduced humanity and its officials and society bodies to the utmost caution because it threatens its national security and the future of its generations, but also the present. He added that the Central Bank of Iraq has intervened through financial facilitation measures and the development initiatives, a total in which exceeds 17 trillion so far, pointing out that when studied with the Ministry of Environment, the risk of climate change and heat emissions we decided to face challenges related to clean energy and sustainability. We also launched an initiative to finance the purchase of units generating electricity from renewable energy at the amount of 1 trillion dinars. Good Lord. In turn, the ministers praised during the workshop the initiative of the Central Bank of Iraq and the support it gives towards the green economy. Reviewing the danger of the climate change and the future of Iraq and the countries of the world, stressing the need to combat those climate changes by investing in the environment aspect. At the conclusion of the workshop, a number of recommendations were established, most notably the need for cooperation of all government institutions and the private sector to confront the risk of climate change and desertification, raise awareness of taking official and societal measures, encourage the public to switch to using sources of electricity generations from renewable energy, and provide the necessary financial support to all sectoral ministries in order to rationalize water use. What you're hoping for in Iraq is this whole Green New Deal generation of jobs so that the government can then have another reliable sector to generate revenue from. The more they have, the better. The less reliant they are on oil sales, the better. So having a whole other sector to generate revenue from is exactly what Iraq needs. The whole goal is to get as many people off government assistance as possible, get them back to work and paying taxes so they can build a stronger economy. The Secretary General of OPEC arrives in Iraq, and why do you suppose that is? Look at the smile on that face. Yes, the Secretary General of OPEC, Mohammed Barkando, arrived in Baghdad on Friday, and the Ministry of Oil stated in a statement that Barkando arrived to participate in the launch of OPEC history books and a celebration to be held in the People's Hall in Baghdad next Sunday, with the participation of the Ministry of Oil and a number of officials, guests, and those interested in the oil affairs and the energy sector. It is noteworthy that the book's launch ceremony comes within the framework of the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the organization's founding in Baghdad. Most likely, they're getting together to celebrate the fact that they are making a killing this year in oil sales. I don't know about you, but in 2020, if you remember, oil was so cheap that they actually paid you to take the oil. Remember that under Trump? It was like the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Oil was so cheap, they're giving it away. Yeah, those days are long gone. In just 2 short years, we went from being the number one exporter of energy to the number one importer. Boy, don't we miss those days. But I know Iraq is happy about these days. Now they are running into an abundance of money, as they should. Now they need to make sure that whatever they do with that money, it benefits the Iraqi people. But definitely this guy here from OPEC, yeah, he's here to celebrate. Najib Friday sermon, Iraq is close to forming a government and crossing the political stalemate. This gentleman right here is a holy man, an imam. And on Friday, he said that Iraq is close to forming the new federal government and crossing the political blockage that the country has witnessed since the early legislative election in 2021. In his sermon, he touched on a set of points saying that it is one of the priorities of forming the government, which is a government of participant by all and without exclusion, and a government that relies on competency before favoritism, and far from foreign affiliations, and works on the interests of the nation and the people before others. Amen. That's exactly what Sauder was trying to do. Sauder made his move. I think the coordination framework realized what position they're in, and now they're trying to talk Sauder into coming back. So you guys leave a comment down below. What do you think? Do you think Sauder comes back with his deputies? Man, my thing is this. He'll come back only if he gets what he wants. If he can't, he refuses to. If he goes to the streets and they have an uprising, it can get really ugly. We don't want that to happen, but I get what's going on over there. I totally understand it. The Iraqi people are tired of the Iranian-backed politicians running their governments and being corrupt and screwing over the Iraqi people. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.